It is time for Puwede Magtanong, where I take your questions about tech and I try to give advice. Usually, to be honest, sometimes the advice is not super actionable because I'll be like, okay, you need to make sure first it's not your RAM, and then you'll need to do the mem test, and then after the mem test, then we can check out the motherboard. Something like that. So basically, it's like I'll point you in the right direction. Hopefully, most of the time, but it's very rare that you'll be able to solve the problem right here and now. But what you can get right here and now is our patented, or not patented, but our famous ad for our sponsor, which we'll put up now, and then I'll see you after the break.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder. Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nagsiligi ka na para sa Windows mo. Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sudden depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com. Sup, Lea Magnaye? Sup, Rich Drune Top? Top? Hello. So, pwede magtanong? I just took a look at the camera and apparently this camera is about to run out of battery. So, hopefully it's plugged into the USB now, which is what's allowing me to stream with this camera through my computer. Hopefully, the USB will give it enough energy while at the same time, allowing for the data transfer of what the camera sees to the computer and things like that. So, if the camera blanks out all of a sudden, the stream will continue. I'll just need to maybe use my phone with the Droid Cam as backup. But just letting you know, just in case biglang mawala yung video. Sup, Lynn Valeria from YouTube, Michael Jason Toledo from Facebook, and of course, Adrian June. Sup, guys? All right, first tech question from Ras. Nag-install ako ng Win 10, gamit ko yung media creation tool, pero yung PC ko po ayaw tumuloy ng install. Namamatay po yung PC ko kahit naka-boot priority na po ako sa USB flash drive. So you're trying to install Windows, di pa siya naka-install, and you have told the boot manager na, oy, nakatutok, you should start with the flash drive, but it won't work. Ayaw tumuloy ng install, namamatay po yung PC. The PC turning off is weird. Sup, Zagbot? No, we just started. It doesn't, even for a failed install, it just doesn't usually die. You could try creating another USB. So my initial suspicion would be there's something wrong with the Windows installation file on the USB. So try to reformat that USB again, or even better, kung may extra kang USB, get that extra USB and then format, make that the bootable Windows installer, and try that again. Baka na-corrupt lang yung Windows installer dun sa USB, that particular installation. Although you can run a verifier or checksum, but the least amount of effort would be just to get a different USB, try to make that done the installer, and then try to see if that one works. Other practical things you could try, also try putting it in another USB slot. Maybe it might be the USB slot of the motherboard. Doubtful, but you never know. Yung mga ganyan na it's easy to eliminate, you might as well try to eliminate them before you go on to the more hard hitting or harder to diagnose parts. Sabaton, I do want to give a shout out to Anton, who I saw in real life yesterday and today because he has a auto detailer business, Akasha Auto Detailer. So he worked on my CRZ. It looks fantastic. This is not a sponsored post. I'm just really very enthusiastic. It looks beautiful again. The car, if you've seen my old videos about it, so it's a hybrid. It's a two door. I bought it when I was single, and it's still, but it's still my daily driver even now that I have two kids and I'm married. So the car has been with me a lot. It has a lot of sentimental value. Plus, it's a really good performer. Like you can put it, for normal drives, you can put it on econ mode, and the acceleration is less, so you're using less gas. But then you can put it in sports mode when you want to overtake some idiot on the road. So I mean, the car is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm very happy with the way the auto detailing came out. And when you talk to Anton, his name is also Anton. You can really get the sense that he's very knowledgeable and that really cares about the technique and the products that they use on the car. Hindi lang siya bara-bara, hindi lang siya na parang kunwaring mabilis, but then you're actually messing up the paint job some more. So you can really feel the passion he has for auto detailing. So I was super happy with it. Like I was so excited to get my car detailed. Hinatid ko sa kanya my schedule with him yesterday. I was at 6:30 a.m. Umalis ako ng bahay like 5 because I wanted to beat I wanted to beat the traffic, and B, I wanted to I was really excited to get the car properly detailed. And dumating ako doon like mga 5:30, 5:45, but I only called him like mga 6 o'clock kasi niya naman ako. Like I was so super early for the appointment. But anyway, um, super happy with the way it came out. And he like even put my daughter's in the background. Hello, CJ. Yes. Um, and he was super kind pa. He did like he he buffed up the lights, and then the glass is so clear now because apparently there was a film or parang may residue from over the years, parang freon interacts with the air. And then I didn't even notice the glass in the back was blurry, but now when I was driving home after I got the car today, it's like, wow, everything is so clear now. Anyway, so yeah, damn, I mean, it's like a wonderful job on the car. Okay, wait. The tech questions are piling up. So I will go back to computer instead of the car. Yumi from YouTube, best build for 35K, walay pa po yung GPU sa budget. Okay. Um, like 35, like without GPU, you can get a 5600X, 5700X, maybe even a 5800X 3D. Get a mobile for that. Um, Might be hard with an ATX board. You get an ATX board for the AM4 platform that's gonna, put you back around 10,000. So that's already a third or so of the budget. Might want to go MATX. So you get a B550M, MSI, Asus B550M. Gigabyte. Actually, my personal motherboard here is an X570S from Gigabyte. I do like Gigabyte for their mobiles, but a lot of the guys in the shop I noticed prefer MSI. Usually, parang yung mga VRAMs ng MSI, they get better reviewed. I've noticed compared to other. Well, not that I've noticed. That's the feedback I get from our guys in the shop. But yeah, you get an M80X, 5800X 3D, B550M, 750-watt PSU, storage 1 TB, and NVMe SSD, and yeah, you're basically good. That'll pretty much fill up a 35K budget. And then yun nga, GPU 4070 Super maybe. Yun nga, depending on the budget. Sub Domer. I think Domer was chiming in for Win 10. I think this is a reply to that. And also possible, yeah. Why does well, basically this question is, why do PC parts cost more here in the Philippines than in the States? I've answered it many times actually, and I've often thought of just doing one video where I talk about it, and then so that every time somebody asks me in a stream, I can just point to the link and say, here, this is the in-depth explanation. But basically, the short answer is it's economics. In the States, you have economics of scale. There are a lot more buyers, so the retailers can buy in bulk. Here in the Philippines, 10 CPUs is already big. Like an order, like pupunta ako sa supplier ko, hey, I want 10 units of a CPU. Malaki na yun. And sa States, wala pa yun. Parang that is like the lint on the sofa of one Best Buy. I mean, parang ang layo ng mga volume nila compared to us. And since you can buy in bulk, mas mababa talaga yung presyo nila. I mean, they can buy in bulk, the price is less because it's basic economics. The more you get of something, the less economics of scale, the less something is. Here, yun nga, even our big distributors, they'll maybe get like 100 pieces of a CPU for one particular model, and it's hard for the general public to appreciate just how small our volumes are compared to big markets like the States. And we are always, we meaning the Philippine market, palaging out of stock kasi our dealers can only buy so much also kasi tinitimpla rin nila yung market. They're afraid to buy a lot, baka malugi sila kasi hindi nila mabenta, which is what happened with GPUs. We had retailers who bought 4070s, 4080s, hindi naubos lahat ng stock nila, dumating bigla hindi naman bigla, dumating yung 4070 Super, 4080 Super. These guys are faster, yes, maybe not as much as we would like in the case of the 4080 Super, but they're faster and they're cheaper. The local shops still price though the older models, the non-super models, as more expensive because malulugi sila. Nabili na nila that sunk cost, and they can't, lugi sila if they sell it at a lower price than the 4070 Super and the 4080 Super, even though it's absurd because the 4070 Super is faster and now it's cheaper. Why would I buy the more expensive, slower 4070 non-super? So one of the basic answers to that is it's just economics of scale. The big markets like the States, you can really buy in bulk, and so per unit, bumababa yung price. So you can also sell it to the consumer for less. It's not a big conspiracy. I get the sense when I get asked this on YouTube or when customers ask, but ang mahal ng mga parts dito compared to the States. It's not because we're grabe yung patong namin. In fact, our margins are super thin as they are. Like with taxes, imagine mo, like VAT is 12%. So that means I need to make a larger, I need the cut. If I get something, if I buy a part at 100 pesos, if I sell it for 112 pesos, wala akong kita dun because I need to pay VAT. So do I make it a 15% markup, a 20% markup? And it's not just like you need to make money on the item because you're also paying for salaries, rent, and daming mga other operational expenses. So after all of that, what markup do you need to actually make a profit? It's not like the retailers of this grand conspiracy to overcharge the market, overpriced, overcharge. It's just that, yeah, we're a small market. We can only buy in these numbers, and so the price is higher. And there's a cascade effect. The distributors only buy this amount, so that's the price that they're selling it at, and yun, dun na kami naglalaro. I mean, we can't go much lower than that. Yeah, that is a big reason. I mean, because of course shipping, everything gets shipped naman from China to the States. Customs, I don't think the customs should be that much higher. Although, I mean, informally from our suppliers, we do hear na it's hard sometimes to get items through customs. We've had a supplier that we've done business with for a long time. Kwento nila, paminsan iniipit sa customs, and then like when they finally get the crate, the container that has the items, napasukan na ng mga daga, natuluan ng tubig, and that's death. That's death for electronic components, right? So you want to get your stuff out of customs right away para mabenta mo na rin, pero iniipit ka ng customs kasi of course, well, customs does not have an incentive to release the item right away. The importer wants to have it shipped out, received right away. So where there is an imbalance where, the customer, the importer wants to get it right away, si customs wala namang incentive to release it right away, kailangan mo bigyan ng incentive si customs, di ba? And well, dagdag patong din yun. So, it's a whole chain. But primarily, supply and demand. I mean, yeah, the market is much smaller here in the Philippines. Marvin from Facebook, may PC po ako na namamatay na lang po bigla. Tried cleaning the RAM, change thermal paste, and still same problem. Yes, we do diagnostics in the shop. The pricing is tiered, so the pricing depends on how hard it is to diagnose. You can just bring it into the shop, and then we'll take it from there. Here's the pricing. Thank you to Asus, by the way, for letting me try out this keyboard. Wow, it is super small. Like it's like about the size of my face. This is the ROG Falcon RX low profile. I am used actually to a full keyboard, like with a numpad and everything. So medyo naninibago pa ako sa like my fingers are too big and I end up like pressing things I shouldn't be pressing. Sorry, it's not properly formatted, but here are the our rates for diagnostic services. I mean, it is properly formatted here when I copy and paste for my Notion, but sometimes when depende where you copy and paste, nawawala yung formatting, which is annoying. Carl from Facebook, I want to have my rig to be diagnosed. Sure. Is it possible if my rig has been diagnosed? Yes. Basically, short answer, yes. In fact, libre pa. So what Carl is asking, like, let's say I send my rig to for diagnostics. It turns out the RAM is the problem, and if can I buy the new RAM from you? Yes, yes, and yes. Plus bonus pa, if we determine that one part is causing the problem, and you buy that part from us, libre na yung diagnostic services. So in the example, you brought your computer to us, we test it, we find out yung RAM yung problema, you buy the new RAM from us, waive na yung diagnostic fee. All you need to do is pay for the new part. Sup, Bing Bong? Regards to your wife. I was trying to think of something witty to replace the name of of the wife of Ding Dong Dantes, whose name currently escapes me at the moment. Who is the wife of Ding Dong Dantes? Marian Rivera. Wala akong maisip na ano. Anyway. You would like a tutorial video paano po magko-connect ng mga wire? That's a good one. Like we have a lot of videos for beginners, but one thing we've never done is like just an actual like we're gonna do here is how to build a computer, and like I have videos because I had a new computer like last year, like mga May 2023, like sobrang luma na ng computer ko, so I bought myself a new one, and I talk like this. I was building it and I talked through the build, but we never actually had one where like where we sit down and like okay, here is how you mount the motherboard into the case and things like that. So yes, we should probably do something like that. Yeah, try the flash drive. Although Domer also had some suggestions. Let's skip to the question of of Liang Magnaye first. I did not watch it, although I hear it was very successful from a commercial perspective. Sobrang tagal na rin ata since they had a project together. So may pent-up demand. Oh, I saw Liang Magnaye also. Yeah, there you go. Fortunately, not something that didn't happen with my own PG48UQ. All right, next question. This is an interesting one. Hunt Key actually, I'm in talks with Hunt Key. Let me check, just to like sigurad. Just so that I am reporting the proper thing. Wait. No? Wait. Oh, I thought I had. Wait. Hang on a sec. Yes. Okay. Yes, I am in talks with the Hunt Key regarding their PSU. So they approached us asking if, hey, can we do a sponsored video about with the PSU? I think it might be the GS 800. I forget the exact model. So yeah, they were asking us if we want to do like, so it would be a sponsored video. So the thing about sponsored videos is the brand has editorial control. So they, if they have notes like, oh, we want you to specifically say this feature, they get to review it beforehand, they get to edit it, stuff like that. I mean, so that's the benefit from the brand point of view of a sponsored video. And that's why also we're very clear when something is sponsored, because we won't lie, but like maybe we wouldn't have highlighted that particular feature if not because of the fact that this is a sponsored video. So Huntkey was like, hey, we were thinking, you want to do can we pay you for a sponsored video for our PSU? And I'm a little hesitant kasi I don't want, hindi pa ganun kasikat yung Huntkey. I also don't have personal experience with it. I don't want to do a sponsored video and I'm saying like, oh, this PSU is great. And then people buy it and it blows up in their face. Like, I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, although it's technically possible that a PSU could blow up in your face. We did have a short video. We had a shorts where, yeah, the PSU just exploded when we turned it on. To be clear, it wasn't a Huntkey PSU. Or talking about a different PSU. But, you know, medyo delikado yung PSU. You want it to be quality. So I wasn't comfortable letting an unknown PSU brand sponsor a video about the PSU. So I'm like, ito na lang counter offer ko. You send us a review sample. We get to keep the review sample. And then we will do a review video, but you don't have editorial control. So we can say anything we want about the PSU. They haven't gotten back to me, so we'll see how that goes. But just to answer the question, I do not have an opinion yet because yun nga, if we were to get a review unit, that would be our first experience with it. And dun ko pa lang talaga masasabi. Like I would really ask the guys in the shop to try to break it. Like we'll get like the most power hungry GPU that we have on hand, which probably would be my 3080. That's why napatingin ako sa computer ko na they really want to give it my 3080. Actually, because the 3080 also is notorious for having these power spikes. Like yung mga milliseconds, it tries to draw too much power. So even reputable PSUs sometimes struggle with that kind of like that sudden millisecond spike in power. So yeah, we'd really try to, yung susubukan talaga namin ibugbog yung PSU na yun, if Huntkey were to send us one. So that when we do a review, and to be honest, we're not that well equipped. I mean, you talk about testing PSUs, you look at Gamers Nexus or those kind of channels that are super technical. Two, they have the equipment to really look into the PSU. And well-known example would be the time that they really dunked on the Gigabyte PSU because they had multiple examples of it blowing up in their face. So we would try to test it as much as possible, but with the caveat that, based on our resources, we really can't determine naman talaga like, oh yeah, this is a good model. But what I like about the PSUs is that, like, for example, like Deep Cool, they sent us a review unit and then we liked it so much we started selling it in the shop. And then afterwards, we already have experience kasi our customers bought them, wala naman nagreklamo. So that's when we have a high level of confidence to recommend the PSU. Initially, from our own experience with it, and the Deep Cool had a great PSU, the DQ 750M something or other, which we really like because mas mura. Yeah, you get these brands that aren't that well known, but their quality is good. That's how you save money. GPU, you get a colorful, great quality, lower price because it's not as well known as MSI, Asus, or Galax or those other GPU guys. Same thing with the PSU. Deep Cool, more known for their coolers, but they have really good PSUs, which are cheaper than, let's say, Corsair, Cooler Master, and things like that. So Huntkey might be one of those. We'll see. We'll see if they send us a review unit. Romar from YouTube, do we have a video for last guide after building PC? Yes, we do. Let me get it for you. That is one of the more recent videos that Rocky the Programmer did. Let me find it. The video title is Congrats on your new PC. Now what? So, yes. I would recommend that video. I don't know. But I do thank you for being the first to comment on the GPU review. I think that was you. I don't know. I'm not that knowledgeable about peripherals, so I really couldn't comment with any degree of expertise or something. Oh, what's up, Jose Marie Carl? Sige, sige. I will jump to that question. Um, so cha-cha means charter change, which basically means amending the constitution. In general, I am in favor. I think a lot of the problems, especially in the states, are because of old laws and old ways enshrined in the constitution. There's nothing wrong kasi with putting in. There's nothing wrong when a law was good before and then now it doesn't work anymore because times change, circumstances differ, and what might have been good back when the constitution was drafted in the late 80s might not be applicable anymore in 2024, right? So in general, I am in favor of changing laws, and that includes the constitution, amending it where it's needed. um, I think it should be easier actually to amend the constitution rather than the current format. Although the founder, the framers of the current constitution, of whom my one of my professors in law school was the famed Father Bernas. He was one of the framers, one of the important framers, drafters of our constitution. Now, rest in peace, Father. He passed away a couple of years ago. He was actually still the professor of my dad. So when my dad went to law school, my dad's also a lawyer. He also went to the same law school I did. Father Bernas also taught him. And then when I went to law school, 40, di naman, 20 or so years after, 30 years after, I think, 25, or something like that. Father Bernas was still there. Father Bernas was still teaching, and he still recognized my last name. Um, they actually tried to make it easier to amend the constitution. That's why now we have the People's Initiative. So in general, I am in favor of reform, of allowing laws to be changed to adapt to the present time. That includes like our penal code, like the revised penal code dates back to like the 1920s or something. And so now, so people, the legislature, the Congress try to keep up. They pass special penal laws, and when you take up law, there's the revised penal code, and then there's the special penal laws, and they don't sync up anymore. When they're applicable is completely different. So in the revised penal code, you need to have criminal intent. Like if I'm robbing you, I can't just sleepwalk into your home. Wala akong intent, walang mens rea. You would be acquitted because you did not have criminal intent. Whereas compared to special penal laws, it doesn't matter. As long as you did the act defined, then you are guilty. I think it's ridiculous that we have gone over like 100 years without revising and incorporating special penal laws into the revised penal code. And there are a lot of laws that could use a revamp. So in general, I'm in favor of the cha-cha. But then the question is always like, what, right? There's talk now about foreign ownership. There's always talk. There's a talk about making it a unicameral system, like eliminating the Senate. And then the Senate, of course, doesn't like that. So it would depend on the particulars. Like I don't have a strong opinion. Although like for foreign ownership, actually, I'm also in favor of that. Because it already happens now. It's just that foreigners pay big law firms, and I know because I used to work at one of those law firms that allow them to come up with schemes to still be legal, but the foreigners are also the ones who own the asset in question, real property or whatever. Um, it's also unfair to foreigners who marry Filipinos and the foreigner is unable to own a percent or the land. Like they're married, but because they're not Filipino, they can't own the land which they probably paid for as well. So it's just an equity thing, and it's also, I think it's naglolokohan lang tayo eh. Yun nga, if you're a foreigner and you want to invest in the Philippines, the law firms in Makati, in Ortigas, the commercial law firms, that's their bread and butter. Ensuring foreign investment, foreign ownership is protected. Because hindi ka rin mag-invest. Like, why would you buy land here if you can't own it? And there have, like, I've heard of instances where the law requires a Philippine partner, hanap ng Philippine partner, may nahanap, tapos, medyo manloloko yung Philippine partner that they really take the foreign partner for a ride. Like there was a Korean investor. Again, this is not personal knowledge, but told to me by another lawyer. The area that they were investing in required a Philippine partner. The Koreans got a Philippine partner, and then sobrang like the Philippine partner really took advantage of the Koreans. Because nga the Koreans needed that guy by virtue of him being Filipino to comply with the law. So yeah, specifically with foreign ownership, I'm in general, again, I'm okay with that. Again, it would depend on the provisions and things like that. So we talked about cars, we talked about law, and I guess we can run to tech now. In general, I'm in favor of amending things when needed. That includes the constitution. In general, I'm in favor of foreign ownership on the grounds that it already happens. It's just that we're making it, we're removing transactional costs to something that already happens. We're making it easier. And I think that's the problem. That's a big problem with our country. We always like to make easy things hard. Business permit, and daming hoops. Just my personal complaint, like in Makati, Hardware Sugars in Makati, for our sanitary permit, we're required to have our staff x-rayed and then isasubmit namin yung mga x-rays to Makati City Hall. WTF? What the F for? Tapos ang bilis ninyo, like, I mean, lawmakers, whether that's a city council, whether that's Congress, na maglabas ng mga regulation, sino magbabayad para nun? Sino magbabayad para sa x-rays ng mga employees na yan? Yung City Hall may gusto, hindi yung City Hall yung magbabayad. Kami, yung negosyante, magbabayad. Kayo, yung mga consumers, magbabayad. Because again, the markups on our goods need to cover kalokohan, things like that. We're not a spa. We're not a restaurant. Why the hell do we need to show the x-rays of our employees? And I was so annoyed. Like for the past 2 years, I've haven't complied, and then the fines keep mounting up. So finally this year we complied. But yun nga, mahilig tayo to make things easy, things hard. Why does a business permit of a retail establishment, and we've explained to City Hall, why do we need yung nagbebenta kami ng computer parts, nagbebenta kami ng laptop, ng keyboard, ng mouse. I mean, why do you need to know the x-rays of my employees? And yun nga, buti sana kung kayo magbayad. Yun nga, it's so easy for legislators to say, oh, this is a great idea. Because we can say that we care about the health of whatever, blah, blah, blah. Diba? Oh, tinupad namin tong batas na to para ma-ensure na lahat mga empleyado talagang healthy and whatnot. What the... don't get me started. We like making easy things hard. Foreign ownership already happens. It's just that we're adding additional costs. So we might as well just stop the moro-moro and just allow it outright, is my 2 cents on that particular matter. So, back to the tech. From Crimson Lee. Yeah, sure. Actually, I would even go more. Like my so this laptop, I think it was, I think, yeah, it was 2 sticks of 8 and 8, so 16. I took out 1 stick of 8 and then put in a 16, so it now has 24 gigabytes, which is an uncommon number of RAM. To be honest, sometimes sometimes it crashes. I've noticed when I'm browsing, like nag-blue screen siya. I don't know if it's because I upgraded nga the RAM. But I mean, I don't mind. It's not something that I stress out about. It'll crash like I'm in Firefox. I don't even know, it might be Firefox. If I switch to Chrome, it'll stop crashing. But the long story short, yeah, sure, go for it. That particular upgrade. Yes, that is true, Lea Magnaye. There are a lot. There's a wide variety. So we have car stores very near us. We have home stuff. So there's a Wilcon further down the street. There's like a tile depot ata or something. There's a dive shop, I think. There are also some restaurants. So actually, Chino Roses is a very vibrant area. And it's a long street to go down. And Hardware Sugar is not as visible as some of those other shops. But once you enter, once you know, you know. Like once you've been to the shop, like there's a lot of parking every time, like regardless of the day. You go up to the second floor, and yeah, you're good. And like if I could, I can't. I don't know if I can share this. Wait, I got sent this by. I got sent this by a customer today. Let me let me let me try to share. Oh wait. Let me pull it up. Then I'll share it. Yon. Okay. No, not that. Oh yeah, that one. So if I could share this. This was sent to me by a customer. So if you need help, because we're on the second floor, if you need help with the item, let's say you're bringing your computer, it's really big or bulky. I mean, don't hesitate. Just text us. We'll come down. We'll help you out. This is an LG monitor that we sold very recently, fairly recently. Tapos made dead pixels, so it got brought back to the shop, and then we'll try to get it. We'll verify it, and then we'll get it replaced. So this is like one of those bonkers ultra wides. Um, yeah, so the our two staff, look, that's Rocky the programmer and Domer. They seem to be having a good time carting up the heavy ultra wide. Come on by. I am Valorance. Okay, I'll just try to go through the older questions. Here, A320M. So A320M, and you want to upgrade to the B550, and you have a 5600. I wouldn't say it's a priority. Go ahead and concentrate, focus pa on the GPU and storage. The mobile, A320 to a B550. I mean, A320 is like the really lower end, right? Because you have the A520s now. But for that range, okay na. Like, yes, of course, there's some performance decrease because the PCIe lanes and whatnot. But you're like value for money, you would experience more of the performance gain, but with getting the GPU that you mentioned and upgrading your SSD. Budget gaming laptop, do you recommend to buy? I am not a good person to ask. So this one I bought for work. It's not for gaming. It doesn't have its own GPU. Um, I yeah, I'm not like I'll plead ignorance. It's kind of like the peripheral question earlier. I'm not the best one to answer that question. Also, it's really hard. Laptops are generally more expensive than the comparable desktop performance because it's harder for manufacturers to squeeze in that amount of. I mean, if you see your desktop compared to your laptop, it's really harder for manufacturers. So I mean, a budget gaming laptop is also is medyo a misnomer, or it's kind of like um it doesn't exist. I mean, if you want to, I mean, of course, yes, you have YouTubers and you have product categories like budget gaming laptop and whatnot. But I mean, budget desktop na pang gaming, kaya pa eh. But yung budget na gaming laptop, it's really like you're sacrificing a lot of performance. You to do it right needs money, is what I'm saying. The compatibility is already well known. And you can look that up. For example, like you're buying a CPU, a Ryzen 5 5600X, the compatible motherboard, so the socket that you need, that's easily looked up. That's documented. So you need the AM4 socket, you need a motherboard with an AM4 socket. Yung actual bottleneck is challenging. So that's not easily researched. I mean, it is in the sense that you have a lot of people saying that X component with Y component is bottleneck, but there are so many different components that when you bring them all together, iba talaga. Like it's almost like every computer is unique. So and the software also that you're running will determine if it's bottleneck and the settings of that software. It's just not enough that I'm running Cyberpunk, bottleneck ba siya sa 4060 and something like that? Do you have DLSS on? Do you have RTX on? What resolution are you playing at? So yung bottleneck thing, hindi mo talaga malalaman without testing. Yung compatibility, that's easily looked up. Yun, malalaman mo na yun. You don't actually have to physically assemble something to determine if it's compatible. But the bottleneck and the percent of the bottleneck, if there is one, yun nga, that varies greatly. Not just based on the hardware, but also based on the software. I know, when I was in Taiwan, like years ago, prior to the pandemic, I went to Taiwan and I was like, whoa, I'm excited, right? This is the land of MSI, of Asus, and things like that. But the PC parts were expensive. I don't know why. Maybe. I mean, because you think it's cheap because a lot of it is manufactured there, diba? But maybe, yun nga. I mean, ilang tao ba sa Taiwan, right? And again, it's supply and demand. Um, it's like Singapore, right? I mean, how many Singapore is first world, it's the same as the States. But how many gamers, how many people buying 4090s in Singapore? Sobrang liit lang no Singapore compared to the States. So again, it's about volume. It's about um, how many units can you move for your market compared to smaller markets. And, prime example is the States where people are fairly affluent. There are a lot of enthusiasts. And that's why the retailers in the States can afford those prices. Thank you, Anton, for the save with the play on Marian Rivera's name. i5 9400F with 1070. What GPU do you recommend rin for 1480p gaming only? 4060. Easy recommendation. Faster than the 3060, uses less power, ideal for 1080p gaming. And generally, I recommend NVIDIA cards over AMD cards because generally NVIDIA cards have less driver issues. But if you want to get value for like better value for money, plus I'm also kind of I like the better RTX. Like I'm the kind of guy who likes visual quality. Generally, RTX support, ray tracing support is better on NVIDIA cards. But if you're more interested in horsepower, like frames per second, and better value for money, AMD cards, and even the A750, the ARC A750 from Intel. So the easy answer is the 4060. But if you're comfortable being an enthusiast, like, oh man, I gotta change this driver. Oh man, I gotta tweak this a little bit. Then AMD, Intel also have good options naman. We do not. I'm not sure if we can still custom order. I think this is an old MOBO. Again, R55600G, you can pair it with a 1660 Super. That would be good. We are in Makati. Jeffrey from YouTube asks, what's a good upgrade strategy for the R55600X and the 6600 XT? I can't answer that because I don't know what you use it for. Like, do you use it for gaming, for work? If it's for work, don't need to touch it. Although you're probably using it for some gaming, hence the 6600 XT. And even if that's for gaming, yun nga, are you dissatisfied? Nababagalan ka na ba sa mga linalaro mo? If not, no need to upgrade. And I'm the only idiot PC shop owner who tells potential customers don't upgrade. But we're always about, yun nga, binabagay namin yung advice to the needs of the customer. If you're gaming, you're happy naman with the performance of your games, no need to upgrade yet. Save your money, wait until the next generation of stuff comes out. Like me, personally, like the GPU, I'm still happy with it. I don't have a lot of time naman for gaming. I'll probably wait for the 5000 series before I upgrade. I want to actually, like, if I actually approach Insta 360, like, hey, can you send us one of your small cameras? Because I think the point of view is really unique. But unfortunately, they didn't choose to send us an Insta 360, and I'm too cheap to buy one. But yeah, like a point of view, like how to build a computer, or even like when our guys clean the computer. I think having a first-person perspective. Actually, it's very difficult to properly angle the camera so that you can actually see what the hands of the tech or of what I am doing, it's a real pain in the ass. And of course, you can do like top down, so like that. But even the top down, sometimes your hands are covering the angle, like so the camera is facing, like this would be the computer, the camera is facing right down, but sometimes your hands are also covering the motherboard or something like that. So like a first person hearing out would be interesting. That is something that I have been thinking about doing for a long time. It's just I'm too cheap to buy a proper Insta 360 or one of those smaller cameras that you can clip on. It does have an impact in the sense that it will run, your hardware can run faster depending on the motherboard that you're using, because the the difference, a large difference between different types of motherboards of the same socket. Again, you have AM4. Let's say you have the A520 or A320, B550, and the X570. Um, a lot of the differences there are the PCIe lanes being that are open or that are available to the other hardware. So if you have more PCIe lanes, then your GPU can communicate faster with the rest of the system. You do get a bump in performance. You do get performance gains, FPS wise. But yun nga, upgrading, if you're trying to get more FPS, upgrading your mobile versus upgrading your GPU, you'll see more of an impact if you upgrade your GPU. But if the question is just is does it have an impact? Yes, the motherboard can also have an impact. Deepcool had an interesting product that we sold for a long time. It was a converter. You might want to try that, but uh, it doesn't work all of the time. So RGB, ARGB, hardware and software, it can get confusing. Your best bet, if you can still find a shop that sells it, was a Deepcool converter. Mura lang naman siya. You can try that. But it doesn't work with all of the hardware. There isn't an easy go-to answer for this. Um, with the expensive brands like NZXT and Corsair, usually they plug into an internal USB hub on the motherboard. But for other brands, yeah, you just plug it into the 5-volt 3-pin ARGB header on the motherboard. If your mobile doesn't have that, you can find these solutions like the Deep Cool converter. But like the only surefire way would be to buy a new motherboard that has an ARGB header. You're asking me like what I would recommend charging. It depends on the service, like a build service or diagnostic service, cleaning, which we do a lot of in the shop. Um, Actually, I think like if you're a freelance guy, yung advantage mo, pwede ka mag home service. Like we can't do it because it's not economical for us to have one technician go out and he can only visit like one or two people. Like mas productive yung time niya from a business standpoint for the shop. If he was just in the shop all of the time, the economics just doesn't work out for us to have home service. But I think for a freelancer, you could charge a premium for that. And that's a really useful service for a customer. Um, but in general, if you're starting out, price lower. You can always, because you want to generate publicity, or you want to generate a buzz about your services. You want people to try you out so that they can recommend you to other people, and you can point out also that people have used you, they've been happy with your service. Yun nga, to get the snowball rolling, you want to charge lower. Happy March. Sup, Jose Mary Carl? Hindi naman the most. That's an exaggeration. The last one we did, so we do have a full video where we talk about not just for PSUs, but all of the parts, the major parts that we deal with. And then we really break down, like we've sold 300 GPUs. Then we break down by brand. And then based on the breakdown, like 1% of them have failed, which is, common, but 3% for this other brand. So this other brand isn't recommended. Um, the hindi naman sa explodes. Usually Seasonic is a good brand, but we've noticed a lot of the um not the GX line, the line under that. Uh Man, my memory is the one the yung hindi fully modular. Wait, let me check. Yeah, Seasonic has a model below the GX line, which is one of our like go-to PSUs. We don't carry it anymore kasi we carried na lang the Super Flower. Oo nga no. I've noticed. Actually, this starting this year, I kind of moved away from being dati kasi ako talaga mag-order from suppliers, but now we got Russ to do it. So now I can't quite remember. It's not the focus line. The core, yeah. No, the S12. The S12 3, yes. We noticed that the S12 3 line had a higher failure rate than we would expect from Seasonic, and also based on the other models of theirs that we carried and sold a lot of. But hindi naman na sumasabog. Yun nga, just like PSU failure. But we also kasi try to make sure that the products that we sell already have a good track record so that hindi na rin mahirapan si customer. Kasi kami rin nahihirapan because we'll have to be the ones to actually talk with the suppliers na for the RMA. To be fair, the in-play PSUs we in-play ba yun? I think so. Wait, let me check. Sorry. In-win pala yung iniisip ko. In-play, we don't have, like, I don't have any experience with it. Sorry. Thank you. It's been a long road getting from there to here, but it's nice, but also very tiring, to be honest. Like, um, there are some days that I just like I have like there it's tiring. The whole YouTube grind, but also fulfilling. Like, I mean, I've met like subscribers in real life. Again, Anton, I just met yesterday and today. Um, and it's nice. It's a platform, so you think you don't get to meet people, but it's really you generate relationships. People go to the shop. I've chatted with them in real life. Yeah. Well, so and I've never, again, 120K is mind-boggling. When we reached 1,000, I was like, damn, 1,000 is a lot. Like I never, di ko naman naisip na like we would reach this number. And we keep chugging along. And hopefully we keep providing value to the viewer. Your PSU was a Hunkey before. It lasted 10 years. Pretty good. Like, I've had Corsairs that didn't last 10 years. But they lasted me long enough na masaya naman ako. Seth, next vid. SFX build for beginner with I guess we could do that. Yeah, we can put together something like that. Like ITX build for beginners. MATX build for beginners. ATX build for beginners. Um yes, we could do that. Subtech Wolf Cave. Linus seems like a very hardcore business kind of guy. He might look at our margins and think like this is not worth it. Like, I mean, like he invested in frame, right? So yung frame is um frame ba yun? Basta that laptop na it's modular so you can swap out the parts. I mean that is an interesting business, right? What's filtered? I don't think it's filtered. It's just that when I move, it's the auto lighting of the camera. So like if I move to a dark part, or like when I tilt, I notice it becomes darker. But then like when I move away, it lightens up again. So that's the auto focus auto lighting thing of the Sony I'm using. Thank you. Oh, there go. It died. It died. There goes the camera. Oh, wait. Since it died, that's a good time. Thank you for reminding me, camera that died. I will play the ad again. Hang on. Hang on. I am still here. Don't worry. Don't leave. Don't leave. I'm still here.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder.
Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nag-CDK ka na para sa Windows mo.
Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sadly depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com. Okay, I got lazy to I got lazy to switch to Droid Cam. So we're just gonna leave instead of my face. I think it would be much more productive if like I just showed like Hardware Sugar, which Rocky the programmer really spent time on, like trying to figure out like the best layout and things like that. And I think we have one of the prettiest and most functional websites of the local PC shop. So we're proud of that. If they are aliens, I wish they would let me in onto their spaceship. Like that's all I ask. Like I would like to go up in a spaceship. I can't think of any that comes to mind, to be honest. I don't follow the dual chamber models religiously. I can't think of any off the top of my mind na I would like super recommend. Sorry, like that was a non-answer. Basically, like I don't know. But we're very big in Hardware Sugar, like admitting like if we don't know or if right now we're still confused by how come your PC is not booting up, we don't we don't give a song and dance like, oh, it's because of this, because the triangulation of the Pisces moon conflated with the PSU. I mean, things like that. We just say that we don't know. For an M80X that looks like ITX, so basically like a small M80X case. Wala rin ako maisip. I mean, because it's hard. The ITX cases are getting bigger, but they're still noticeably smaller than an ITX case. Ryzen 2600 and 3060 with 60 watts, 650 watts. Yeah, sure, that's fine. The CPU GPU pairing is fine, and the PSU is also fine. Yes. Playing at 280 hertz and I get 300 plus FPS a game, specifically CCS2 pairing experience ko parang well, this is very subjective. So it's hard for me to, first of all, make sure that you're actually getting the hertz that your hardware can manage. So, yung doing FPS, you throw up an FPS counter to see what you're actually outputting. And then on the monitor itself, check that you're using the proper cables to reach 280 hertz. Make the long story short, make sure you're using the display port para di na magulo between like HDMI and display port. Make sure that the refresh rate is on right in the settings of the game and the settings of Windows. And if after all of that you still feel that it's like you're playing at 100 FPS, might be time to I don't know, like hindi kasing smooth. Try bumping down the but you're saying that you get 300 plus FPS. So it's hard for me to determine if this is a computer issue or a user issue. Because I don't, yun nga, what about the experience makes you feel na naglalaro ko lang at 100 hertz? I use that discount code often also. Yeah, CDKey legit. I this like very general. I can't like I don't know what the budget is. It really depends on the budget. It, like for me, I wouldn't feel I feel personally that spending 35K, is it thereabouts for a 4070 Super is good value for money. Like I would plop down that amount for that GPU, but I don't. Holy Jesus. We need to. Hardware Sugar needs more GPUs. If you were watching the last live stream, I've talked about how I'm contemplating like making all GPUs for order na lang instead of having a on stock GPUs. But this one does look kind of pathetic. I don't know. But it really depends on the budget. Um, yeah. Yeah, the basic 60 is a good. Um, I'm trying to remember the model of CPU you mentioned, but yes, the motherboard is still good. I mean, it doesn't. I always forget like what is the BC. But yes, it's pretty good up to the current gen. I think I can't quite remember. I have a hard time with Intel because it changes so often. Like once every 2 3 generations. I can't remember if the B660 is good up to. It's good up to the 11th, I think. Kasi the B76, ano, I think pwede rin siyang 13 and 12 eh. I'd have to check, to be honest. They do have a good following. Like, I don't have my own experience with it, but it's supposed to be good nga daw. Yun, like, that's what I was talking about earlier na it's gaming laptops just by the nature of their format, they really don't give as much performance as a desktop at the same price level. So it's not the fault of the laptop. It's just really because it's the format, right? It has to be kind of portable. So they have to shrink everything down. It's harder to get performance. Heat builds up faster. I mean, things like that. So yeah, I mean, if you can have a desktop, desktop is preferable for a gamer. Budget secondhand builder are I think I answered performance is really up to you. Like a lot of sorry. Aesthetics is really up to you. Like there are a lot of boards that are all black, but some people find that boring. So like the Mortar series from MSI has a nice gray-ish tint to it, or like you can get it also in white, harder to find in white, but still. I mean, if you're trying to go for an all-white build or something. Um, for performance, yun, the middle end for an AM4 platform is the B550 series. Um, our go-to B550M is the one from MSI, the B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi. Aesthetics-wise, it looks like a motherboard, nothing too striking about it, but it's good performance at a good price. So that's usually what we would recommend. Joma from Facebook, gagawa po ba kayo ng video regarding PC components that were released in the past years na good pa din ngayon 2024? Um, we don't have a specific video about that, but that is a good topic. I have mentioned it in other videos, like yung 24 build tips in 2024. One of the build tips was that a lot of the old hardware, like parang air quotes na old, are still very good. Are still good buys in 2024. You're basically suggesting a dedicated video just on that topic. Yeah, I guess we could do that. That sounds good. Yeah. It depends. Sometimes because the performance is quite price to performance is usually the answer here. Sometimes because the performance for the 14th and 13th are very similar. Tapos mas mura yung 13th. So yung price to performance, um, you go with the 13th. But if you just want like the fastest nga, yeah, you can usually go for the 14th. Chester. Um, is it noticeable? Uh you like again, correct me if I'm wrong because I do get mixed up with the Intel generations. But I think if you upgrade from the 10th gen to the 13th gen, you will need to change motherboard. Um, so that adds to the cost. Considering the added cost, I would not. Like I don't think that would be a good. That would be a good upgrade. If I remember correctly, guys, kasi parang 10 and 11 same Mobo, and then 12, 13 same Mobo. Yeah. So in this case, like you're upgrading from 10 to 13, um, you'd have to have a new motherboard that adds to the cost, and yeah, that no good. Man, I feel for you. Um, I also don't know. Like again, I'm the wrong person to ask about this. I'm not very knowledgeable about speakers. Something like that. Yeah, the Ray-Ban Meta. Or if we can borrow Raygo's Insta 360, I would not be adverse to that. Good YouTube name. Um, oh, how much could you get this for? Um, I want to say 20 to 30. Like it depends on like is this a rush sale or you can hold out. I mean these are good specs, right? So yeah, 20 to 30 big gish range, but yeah, you could probably plop there and then I mean ask for 30, may magbabargain, then you end up at 25 or something. Um so I'm trying to figure it out in my head. Yeah, between 20 to 30, I think. Only for very specific use cases. Yun nga, you have a laptop and you wanna get a beefier GPU for it. Some instances where you have like rendering for work and things like that, you have to have a GPU that you can stick between different computers. So it has its uses, but not generally. Here, kasi kung on a budget, I think the cheapest would be the B450. I'm not too sure. I can't quite remember the differences between the A520 and the B450. Um, I would go for the A520 just because it's newer than the B450. Do I need experiencing vertical lines? Not immediately. Like if it disappears, just keep using it until usually naman like I like in my personal experience, my own monitor, you really know when it's about to die kasi grabe na yung screen artifacts and stuff. But getting to that point, padagdag siya ng padagdag. So it's not something that will die overnight. In my case, like the panel just literally died, but it took several months from the start of the screen artifacts up to the end of life of the monitor. Um, and it's weird that it disappears upon start, after 10 seconds after. Usually the screen artifacts already start right away. So I don't know. You might just hang on to it. Might be a cable issue, might be a port issue that you're using instead of the actual monitor. But if the screen artifacts continue and they become there are a lot more as time goes on, then that's probably a good indication that the panel is failing. The MSI claw. Like again, I'm gonna be upfront. I have no idea what the MSI claw is. Let's take a peek. Oh no, no, sorry. Is that the handheld? Yeah, I think that's the handheld. Wait, let me check. Yes, yes, that's the handheld of MSI. I'm not a big handheld fan. Like I've talked about this like in a live stream last December. I think na I can't quite understand bakit na hype up yung Steam Deck and the Asus. I forget the name of the Asus, but the Asus has one, Lenovo has one, MSI has one. But I was as other viewers, commenters, commentators, other comments pointed out that there are some games naman na bagay to for handheld na for PCs, and I kind of agree with that. So I have not used it. Um, the format, the handheld format. So hindi ko masabi. But like personally, am I excited? It's like good that there's competition in that space. Competition is also good. But like personally, I don't really I'm not looking to get one. Maybe if a good second-hand one popped up. Whether I'm and again I'm brand agnostic, whether that's the Steam Deck or the Asus one or something. Like if there was a good second-hand one, I might be kind of interested. But where my personal space now, I have very limited time for gaming, even on my desktop. So although I guess kung that's the whole point of the handheld. Like I'm waiting in the car for my daughter to finish school. I guess I can play it there, diba? Agree with Jose Marie Carl. I think we have a supplier for thermal right now. We could probably um get a custom order. That stutters a little when there's a lot of action on the screen. Yeah, like you could maybe try to overclock the graphics card a little bit. Just turn off everything before you play the game. I mean, you um so many things run in the background nowadays on our modern computers that if you're trying to get the best performance, it's still recommended to turn everything off. So turn off if you have a BitTorrent program running, turn that off. Like just for me, I have what do I have? So I do have a BitTorrent program running. Hee hee. What is this? You are sharing a window. You're sharing. Oh, okay, okay. Um, the Stream Deck app, my Viber turns on by itself. ShareX, which is how I get my screenshots. Notion is on also. So the tweaks, yeah, you can tweak the GPU to overclock, but again, just like the simple things, like turn off everything. Just check the settings also of the MMO that you're playing. Maybe there are some recommended settings. Um, so there are stuff that you can try. That's true, Paul Dread likes up. It's true. We haven't done a 100K special video. I'll think about it. How to make it special. Okay, last question. And then I have to go eat, and also I'm playing Fortnite with my friends, which I can only do because my wife is away. Heh. She's away on a. Oh, sup, Christian Espinosa. Oh, sup, ITX Addict. Oh, why are all the regulars coming in? I'm just about to shut down for the night. Um, oh, I know ITX Addict. Is this a buy? What do you think? Is this market a buy? It's been down from the 64 high. Pero I mean it's down from the high of 64, but we're not at all-time high yet, so it's probably going to go higher. Is this a good time to buy? I don't know. But my fingers, oh, the camera's gone. It died, but my fingers are itching to buy. um yes, so I am yeah, so I'm going to play Fortnite with my friends because I have time, because my daughter is playing with a friend, and my wife is away on a personal trip. And so that means I'm alone with my computer. And sometimes that's just really the best place in the world to be. So thanks everyone for your questions. Oh, let's just do one more. Let's do one from Vigilante Gaming. Sup, man? Any monitors that have more than 100 hertz, but within, heat up. I can't think of any. The 5K budget for 100 hertz. I mean, there are a lot of monitors now that go over 100 hertz, but at a 5K budget, actually, like the ones that but those were like 7,000. We have an old video where like I get the cheapest monitors I could find on Lazada na gaming. So that was like 160 hertz, I think, or something. But if I remember correctly, even those were around 7,000. Eh. Um, Yeah, so that budget is hard. That budget is hard. Like, to be honest, I can't think of any that I could recommend. Yeah. Last question from Raster. Um, yeah, yeah, the like I say, I would recommend it, but like I don't have camera on now because, but that's my fault because the battery died. So I use my ZVE10 as the camera for all of my streams, basically. And yeah, it works fine. It works great as a webcam. So I do recommend it. Yes. What's a good DLSR? DSLR? That one, I'm not that big of a camera guy, so I am not in the best position to recommend that. If you want to save, actually, the camera in your phone is fine, and you can use something like Droid Cam. That's free. You already bought your cell phone, so that's sunken cost. That's basically free already. You're just using it for a different kind of feature. But yeah, if you do want the quality of a DSLR camera, I do recommend it. The one I use is a ZVE10. It's good for entry level. But that said, yung cameras kasi, ang mahal. Like, I come from the computer space where I'm used to hardware being expensive, but cameras, then you start with the lenses and things. Like, the body palang mahal na. I think it was like 17K for the ZVE10. Might be cheaper now since the ZVE10 isn't the newest model that Sony has put out. Um, but yeah, cheap price. Actually, cheap price, you should probably consider secondhand. You buy a secondhand camera and a good body with the stock frame, sorry, the stock lens, and then you start out with that. That would be my recommendation to 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 get a good camera at a cheap price. Because even if you get it, you get a brand new one, even the entry level ones. Yung nga, itong ZVE10 is kind of entry level for Sony, and I find it like, wow, it's so expensive. And I'm coming from the PC space na medyo mahal rin yung mga mga parts natin. All right. Yun, thanks so much guys for this Pwede Magtanong. Tomorrow game stream, Sunday game stream. Monday I will be in China. Monday to Friday I am in China. Thank you to Deep Cool who has invited me to their factory and I gladly accepted. So Monday to Friday I will be in China, but I will try to live stream from China. Yeah. So and we'll do the podcast episode also will drop Monday. Friday will drop a short. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I will try to do some streams from communist China. Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good weekend.